quite a bit to talk about. I will keep it as brief as possible. You all keep up with the news. I feel like I've covered way too many reports with that this year. As you can tell, we now have a board of trustees. Good, bad, or indifferent, they are fully politically compliant. They can operate fully within the law. SACS may have the opportunity to respond and may so. I don't really know. I would expect we will have a board meeting very soon to set up an interim contingency plan. As for our new interim president, since Dr. Pinto will be leaving us on February 15th, that is all to be determined, but before we can even do all that stuff, the new board will have to elect leadership, get the house in order on the governance side itself, putting in the new chair, all the executive offices, and then the foundation side, all of that as well. That is all the result of Senate Bill 12. We all did a little bit of advocacy on the part of the institution. Bill ultimately passed. You also may have seen in the headlines that SACS says that was a step in the right direction. I can only hope that they do mean that. And I hope that we will continue to move in the right direction as 107 gets moved into law with what I think may need to be a few amendments, but I expect that to happen too. Myself and the other SGA presidents across the state will be watching 107 and making sure the language gets cleaned up to a point that we think is agreeable to what SACS would like and what we think all parties in the legislature and the governor's office would like. So stay tuned on that. The Senate reconvenes first week of February, so until then, nothing major will be going on with that. Which leads me into our advocacy agenda. There's a whole host of things that we've been watching that have been getting filed in Frankfurt that we're going to keep our eye on to see how they progress. A couple different bills regarding student advocacy within conduct hearings, free speech zones, that we're still watching to see if any amendments get added to either. Because as of now, they're kind of vague, especially the free speech zone one. It really doesn't affect students at all, at least at UofL, as it reads currently. And so we're just trying to make sure nothing wild happens within that. We've got a rally planned on February 13th from 1 to 3. We've got some logistical pieces that we're putting together. We're ultimately looking to get 2 buses and 2 bus loads of students there. So if you're interested, we're working on getting slips for the Dean of Students Office for absences. If you or your friends or anyone you know wants to go to Frankfurt and rally in the Rotunda, we're working on a lineup of speakers. As of now, the Attorney General, the Commissioner of Agriculture, Representative James Kay, we're working on the Governor's Office, we're working on a couple other, and some more reps to also speak and to help rally up some students. And then in the morning, we'll be doing our advocacy, one of our first advocacy days, getting students in the advocacy program, Cards in Action, connected with their legislators in Frankfurt to lobby on some of the legislative pieces that we have. And the only other thing that we've started working on in the new year is fee review and budget setting. So we are right at the beginning of setting the budget for the university. We will have our first meeting with the budget team in the next week or so, and I will report back to you on that. We're also in the middle of fee review. So, and I've talked to Ned and Kent both. If you know that your councils are putting fees up, definitely make sure you're getting the information on that. We would like to have as much student feedback as possible. Arts and Sciences did this early in the year, giving us some feedback, and the council gave us a letter that was sent to TFTF. Similarly, for Kent, we've talked, and Ned, we've both talked, that anytime these fees are coming up, we want to make sure that we have the full student perspective, and not just for myself and the other students on TFTF, but really the entire administration asked for these letters, and they would like to know. Other than that, that's all I got.
Thank you. Executive Vice President Manny Metzger.
Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you all had a good winter break. So, a couple of quick things. Number 1, bowl game. The game itself was not so much a success, but the trip was, so that was good. Number 2, so I haven't had an update on this in a while, but the feminine hygiene products, the Dean of Medical School is working with the academic officers on that, so I should have updates in the coming week. Next week, there is a load of events on campus for Unity Week 2017. So it's kind of sponsored by SGA, ELSB, SAB, and then a bunch of other student organizations. So there's an event page on Facebook with like all of the details on it, but just some of like the highlights that I would really like to see you guys attend. It's all about celebrating diversity and inclusion at UofL. So on Monday at 11 a.m. we're doing a march on Brahmeyer, kind of like a march on Washington. And there's going to be free coffee and snacks. And then on Tuesday, this is like probably the biggest event of the week, is an RSO potluck in the MPR. So SGA is providing a bunch of food for that, and all the other RSOs are bringing side dishes, so please come to that. And then the rest of them, you can just check it out on Facebook, and I'll send out a link to you guys too. And then, so the SGA appreciation game is on Thursday, the Clemson game. So you guys should have gotten an email from Joe Elliott. Did everyone get one that said like claim your tickets, write your guest name? Cool. If you did not get one for some reason, just let me know. And you might have typed your email wrong or something, but we will figure it out. And there is a new student group on campus right now, if you guys have seen, called the Villains for the student section. So there were a lot of complaints on how the student section was operating, and hopefully the student group will fix it. So we'll get to see that on Thursday. And then email me if you guys are still having any like claiming issues, or if any students are having claiming issues with tickets. The email that went out on the 5th, apparently a lot of people didn't get it, but it should be fixed now. So just email me if you have any issues. And then the last thing, nobody from the court is here, I don't think tonight. But election-wise, we're working really hard to reach out to some of the minority student organizations. So if you personally know of any that I can come and talk to at their meetings, that would be great. And then Aaron and I were talking about potentially figuring out a way to add some at-large seats to Senate. So we're going to talk with Dean Martis about that on Monday, talking about adding like freshman seats. So if that's something you guys think would be beneficial, I see head nods. So yeah, but that's all I have. I will be emailing out that Unity Week information, so please continue to share it.
All right, thank you. Academic Vice President Meredith Cookson.
Hi guys, happy spring semester. I hope you're graduating. It's our last one, so push through. A few notes. So first of all, I'll let Lauren kind of take the thunder on this, but the Starbucks opened today inside the library, so we can all get our handcrafted beverages now instead of our 99-cent cups, but pretty exciting. I heard it went off great and the coffee tastes just the same. So there's going to be an advising survey coming out. It should be on the SGA Twitter tonight or tomorrow. If you guys don't mind to share that with your friends and participate in it. I'm just trying to gather feedback, like what you guys like about advising, how you think it could be improved. Try to give like concrete, helpful responses rather than just like yes, no answers. It kind of helps a little bit. As far as course evaluations went, the overall rate increased by 24% to 74% of students. So the provost's office was really happy about that. They're going to try to work. Oh, did you have a question?
Does that include like people like you said like I don't want to respond? Is that?
Yes. So that excludes all the people who opted out. So they kind of talked about that. They're trying to decrease that for this coming semester. So really an evaluation takes about 5 minutes. So they're going to try to work on ways to encourage students to not opt out. But the 74% response rate really helped. And I think that they're going to also try to work with some faculty members, encouraging them to tell their students that they actually read the responses, and that kind of helps students respond as well. And then Student of the Month, just keep applying. Last 2 months we kind of combined it. It was Nicole Robertson, so if you guys know her, tell her congrats.
Thank you. Services Vice President Lauren Greenwell.
Hello, hello. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I was in Chicago and ate my weight in pizza and potatoes, so that was really great. So yeah, Meredith kind of took my thunder, but that's okay. Starbucks is open today officially. It's awesome. I got to do a tour of it last month, and it's by far superb. So please go check it out. As far as the other restaurants, as far as Subway and Davidson, Twisted Taco, and Panda Express, they'll be opening in the next 2 weeks. I know that they were missing some different compartments and different things for the kitchen and parts of the construction, so they were just trying to get all that together. So they'll be opening soon. And then for parking, seniors were able to get stickers for their permits. So any senior, whether you are graduating or have 90 and above credits as of right now, you could have gotten a permit to park at the Reynolds Loft, parking lot right across from Reynolds Loft, right behind Speed School. So if you're a senior, yep, lucky you. But we were able to do that as SGA, and so me and Aaron kind of were loving on the parking office, so we got that, so that was good. And then as far as the UofL app and the updates for that, either next Senate meeting or another one in February, working on that because they're design students, and some of the people from that administration and technology are going to come and present those ideas for you all, so you all can actually see them in the flesh, what they look like, instead of me just telling you that they're really nice. So they're going to come and show those. I'll schedule with them soon on what date exactly. And if you're on my SAC, Safety or Services Committee, we'll be meeting in the next 2 weeks. We'll be sending an email tomorrow. Just trying to adjust back to school. And then all other news, I'll update all of you all with anything with housing, with parking. I'm just getting a lot more information, so I'll be able to send you all more. And I know some people have been concerned about the blue lights around campus. I've gotten a lot of concerns as far as the signage that's around them, and tomorrow I'm going to make a phone call to just kind of see what's going on, because a lot of them are like off and shut off. So I'm going to kind of see what's going on. But other than that, that's all I have. So thanks.
By any chance, any updates when the Auburn will open and
Can't remember the exact date off the top of my head, but I'll get back with you. I don't have it on my phone, but I'll get back with you, email you. So I'm sorry. All right, that's it.
We'll move on to reports of councils. College of Business, President Benjamin Streetby.
Hey guys, we got a good break. Tomorrow the College of Business is having their welcome back luncheon. We'll have canes, so if you're on campus, you can come stop by at 12:15. It usually goes pretty fast, so like you probably have to get there like right at 12:15, maybe like 12:16. But the line gets pretty long at 12:17. So we got a lot of stuff planned for this semester. Looking to spend lots of money so we get the rest of our budget. That's all I have.
Thank you. School of Music President Matt Pennington. School of Nursing President Brian Zawalka.
No report.
Brandeis School of Law President Katie Bonds.
Well, I have one thing to say, and that is our report is we had one new Brandeis baby, and it belongs to Brandon. We welcome baby number 3 in December.
Is that all?
That's it.
Making sure. School of Dentistry President James Bland.
No babies, but we're working on making babies. So we have our interprofessional event coming up with the other HSC schools, the Men Mullen Masquerade Ball. Should be pretty fun. We're also working on our student convention that's coming up next month, and our 2nd annual Mr. Muller competition, which should be quite good.
School of Interdisciplinary and Graduate Studies President Adam King.
We're gearing up for a research conference, and everybody's welcome to attend. It's March 24th and 25th. We're close to exhausting GSC travel funds, and as a council, we wanted to write letters to Frankfurt talking about accreditation, and I figured that we should ask here about SGA efforts or talking points and things like that. Whether or not there's anything why.
Well,
That's a question rather than an announcement.
that's regulated now. I would say tentatively wait a little bit. Once we see how the amendments shape up on 107 and we get some more response back. We've also tabled our letter that we were gonna put out as a board of student body president after what we heard about SAC saying they feel a little bit better, that everything's moving in the right direction. I would say we'll wait. Just a little bit.
I think they did later say that direction wasn't meant to be taken in a
Correct.
positive or negative way.
Correct, no, you're right, but it couldn't hurt, but again, I would still wait till we see what amendments get floated, so we'll know in a week and a half, 2 weeks.
We move on to reports of boards and standing committees. SGA Senate Executive Board Chair Amanda Netsky.
So I was telling you guys how I was forcing all of your presidents to come with resolution ideas to our board meeting, and they did it, so that was exciting. So we have 2 main ideas that we're going to kind of push through for the rest of the semester. So the first one that we're working on is having a comprehensive resource list for struggling or non-traditional students, so things with like mental health, sexual assault, like resources for if you are a nursing mother on campus, where would you go for that? And then requiring professors to put like a link to that on their Blackboard page or maybe in their syllabus. So that's the first idea we're working on. And then the second idea that came from Jessica Morgan was about adding to the course evaluations and evaluating professors and courses on their practices of inclusion and ability to facilitate diversity of thought and all of that good stuff. So that way we can hear like student concerns on that end and evaluate campus climate more. So yeah, that's all I got.
SGA Appropriations Committee, I just wanted to remind everybody that the council budget remainder request, which is the remainder of your 25% of your budget that was allotted at the beginning of the year, that is due January 30th. And the earlier you come, the earlier you may get your disbursement. We had two councils come today to appropriations. One was tabled and one was approved. So I would encourage everybody to submit their budget remainder requests. Up to 25%. Don't be shy if you request less than that. Just a reminder that the excess money that a council does not spend goes to the dean's office for their discretion, whereas if you do not request it up front, then it goes back into SGA for SGA to disperse for the next year. And again, that deadline is January 30th. Okay, SAB report.
Hi guys, my name is Rachel Casey. I know Ben usually speaks, but he has class during this time, so who knows who it's going to be every time you guys have a meeting. But our report's pretty short, and the thing we really have to say is we don't have too many big events coming up, but the International Fashion Show is next week, and the tickets are already on sale this week. If you guys want to know the ticket prices, I think it's $5 for a student, $10 for general admission, but then next week it goes to $15 for everyone. So if you want to buy them in advance, do that. They're on sale on the SAC during lunch, just like normal. Other than that, we're hoping to be able to partner with SGA to help pay for some of the buses to the rally in Frankfurt on February 13th. And other than that, we have a lot of different events coming up, but those are the two big things we're looking at right now.
Thank you. ELSB report.
I'm guessing that she's not here. Hey, Nick Yates is there. We just had our winter interest fair that we had over 300 students show up at Red Barn Day, so we're looking to recruit some more people. We're going to do stuff with you in the week, as already mentioned, as well, so if you are in stuff,
Thank you. With that, we'll move to new business, with the first item of business containing the minutes from the 11/29/16 regular meeting. Is there a motion on the floor? Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. And we'll move to discussion and vote on travel funding requests. We had two funding requests today that were approved out of committee, and that is the Investing Club for $400 and the National Association for Music Education for $555. Is there a motion on the floor? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, and we'll move on to the discussion and vote. Yeah, so the Investing Club was $400, and then the other one was $500. Move on to discussion and vote on new RSOs. Is there a representative from the Student Organizations Advisory Board? So nothing made out of committee, is that right? Are there any announcements? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions?